Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of our classic little group flies. This time we are up in the lovely area, just kind of eastern France, Luxembourg, kind of Germany, Belgium sort of region here. Sitting down right outside of the classic city of Bastogne. And I gotta say, I just spent the last 5 or 6 minutes trying to get the engine started on this thing, so that does not surprise me in the slightest. It's a testament to how much effort they put into trying to make this thing relatively realistic, which I think is super exciting. So our flight today is pretty straightforward. Central Command, the Army Air Corps has requested that we fly along the current front right now. You know, it's late 1944. And basically, we're just trying to see what Jerry's up to on the eastern border there. Actually, well, their western border, but the eastern border, the eastern side of the front. There's some rumors that they're planning some kind of like an invasion or a massive attack or something around this particular region. And unfortunately, we just have airborne troops in the region. So, you know, we're going to go do a little bit of a photo reconnaissance like that. So this should be pretty darn good in this kind of a thing like that. So we took the P-38 today, just getting everything warmed up on this one. They did a pretty nice job as far as trying to simulate a lot of what this aircraft is all about, which I think is really wild. For those of you who know history, of course, the P-38 was responsible for 90% of the photography missions during World War II, hence exactly what we're doing here. A couple things I want to check before I get going, though, because I am very famous. When you press Control-E in this aircraft, it does not tolerate you very much. It does some things really well, but it definitely doesn't do everything, which is actually, oh well, it's just kind of the nature of the beast, so to speak here. I'm just going to confirm that everything is indeed turned on. Oh, those are all set correctly. Radio's on to be set correctly. I'm just going to make sure the the intercooler flaps are open okay. Make sure we're in the right fuel tank here. I love how we have actual drop tanks in this thing. I don't know, kind of cool in my mind. It's just a matter now of getting everything just kind of warmed up. Coolant looks good. Carburetor's absolutely frozen. Oh well. I'm going to go ahead and go apply some really hardcore left rudder here and give it just a tap of the right engine to try to get us at a spin around here. Give it just a little more right engine. There we go. Nice. It's one of those things that I remember when I first bought myself a split throttle. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be using it for all sorts of airliners and stuff like that. But it turns out I don't use it nearly as often as I thought I was going to use it, except, of course, in an application like this. A little bit of right foot. There we go. There we go. All right, let's get ourselves going here. There we are. And we're going to be taking off. It looks like it would be like, 5:15 in the morning or something like that. But believe it or not, it is not. This is this time of year. It gets dark pretty early. One of the things I forget about in the part of the world that I am, I'm in New England, the United States, is that we're relatively, what's the best way to say it? We're not as high up in the latitudes as a lot of places that you get up in Europe, especially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go sneak my way over to the runway here. I can see we're being joined by all sorts of really solid airplanes. That's going to be super fun. We did not have a live stream back at the end of last year. It just was not going to happen. Life got real busy real fast for me. And for those of you who have a lot of family around the holidays, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. All right, let's go ahead and get ourselves on the runway. I don't think we need a gun sight. The F-5 version of this aircraft during World War II wouldn't have had a gun sight anyway. It would have been unarmed. There we go. Get ourselves nice and lined up. It's feeling pretty good. I'm really impressed with this aircraft because it's so polite. I can see the wind is blowing against me, but that's all right here. All right, let's go ahead and get ourselves a tiny bit of a takeoff flap here. We don't really need that flaps given this particular weight condition, especially since it's an old school split flap here. So our initial heading is going to put us at a 129er. It's going to be basically kind of being kind of southeast. We're supposed to hit the bottom part of the front and then slowly make our way up the front itself. So keep an eye out for any unusual movement. Cruise altitude today is going to be about 2,000 feet. Apparently that was a typical altitude for us, so we're going to kind of enjoy it like that. Just take a quick look around, make sure everything's secure, and make sure I got somebody up. I love the CJ4 there. That's a great thing. This plane is quick, but it's not like Lightspeed quick. All right, let's do it. Love the old school too. Oh, look, the two engines aren't even in sync with each other. That's awesome. About 30 inches. See how it's running. Looks pretty good. Plenty of runway here. No reason to hit it too hard. Oh yeah, there it is. And look at this. And airborne. We're retractable, so I'm going to go throw that up right now. Oh man, I love the sound of this thing. It's so much better in headphones than it is with conventional speakers. It has this definite anger to it when it's flying, and I always appreciate that. All right, I'm going to drop down a Mito here. It's going to be about right there. Looks pretty good. And we don't need to be revving around at 3,000 RPM. Start bringing that down a little bit. Yeah, it looks pretty good right there. I like that. All right, so now we're going to go swing over to our initial heading, and obviously, hopefully by the time we get to the front, we'll get a little bit more daytime here, so we'll be able to keep an eye out for any unusual troop movements or something along those lines as we're kind of winging it. All right, go ahead, slow down a little bit. This thing goes fast. There we are. It's about 4,000 feet already, so we're pretty high. We're pretty high. The local altitude, by the way, I believe is right around 2,000 feet. So 4,000 feet is probably going to be about the altitude we're going to stick to. We're hoping that there's not a lot of flak 38s or anything along the route here, because that could definitely make things interesting for us along our trip. Give it a couple whacks of trim. And this is a pretty good heading initially. I'm actually going to come to the right a little bit. Now, the interesting thing is, given that this is the 1940s, you'd expect there to be a lot less, development in roads, but stuff happens, I guess. Now, one of the interesting things is, and I wonder if this is going to happen, is way back, this is going back, I think, about 20 years, Microsoft released a game called Combat Flight Simulator. Now, what I always got a kick out of that particular one was the fact that, let's do a flight simulator for the world, but make it a combat flight simulator. Someday, I can definitely dream. All right, give us a moment for everybody to kind of get caught up here. That's looking pretty good. All right, let's go bring this power back up just a tiny bit, and we'll get going. Let's see here. Tyre Zero popping in to say thanks for the command videos. I picked it up on the Steam sale. Thanks, Tyre Zero. Command is it's been a pretty there's nothing like Command, and maybe someday something will replace it. But for those of you who know, I don't always do Microsoft Flight Sim. Command is just a game that I played it enough and done enough videos for it that the people who actually develop it came out of nowhere one day and said, "Can you do our corporate videos for us?" I'm like, okay. So suffice to say, I have to script those and talk real slow, and it feels really, really uncharacteristic. It's very strange for me. All right, we're going to go reduce down to a nice bit of a cruise RPM here, and everything looks pretty darn good. That looks about right. Not bad. I'm actually kind of surprised. I feel like I need just a tiny bit of trim here. All right, this feels pretty good. Like I said, this is going to be about our altitude. We got about 165 feet of good old high-fashion fast film. So hopefully right about the time we get to the zone there, we're going to have pretty easy time cruising. We are not armed or anything today, so hopefully Jerry is taking a nap. There we go. Just a couple taps. Trying to get my trim all set correctly here. Incredibly, even though the propellers are rotating against each other, this thing does like to pull to the left a little bit. And one of the number one reasons for that I have discovered is the way the fuel system is actually set up here. You have kind of your left tank, and then you have your right tank, and depending on how you set this is going to have a big impact on how it sucks down the gas. That's going to cause all sorts of fuel imbalances on you. Just kind of the nature of the beast sort of a thing. All right, let's kind of get this one all lined up. I'm going to go take a look at what we have for cruise settings on this sucker. Fortunately, Central Command has given us a new prototype device. They're calling it the Tablet Mark 1. Now, let's see here. Cruise speed's pretty good. Live data's pretty good. Just want to go take a look real fast, make sure everything's good. Now, let's see here. Approach, miscellaneous. Here we go. Maximum cruise is 2335. 2335. Let's go get that all set up here. Bring this down to 35. And we'll bring this down to 23. And perfect. We are good to go. Look at that sun. Great day to be in the Army Air Corps. We're on a heading of, let's see here. My thing says 131 degrees. Basically, what we're going to be doing is heading down, like I said, to kind of right on the southern part, and we're going to do a patrol up the front. See what we can see. In destination. They also want to get us a couple photos if we have any film left of, I believe, Cologne. So that should be fun for us. Much heavier anti-aircraft defenses up that way. There we go. Very difficult to trim this aircraft. There we go. Come on. Nice. Okay. I'm actually going to take a look at that real quick. And look around, see what we got. Actually, I'm going to cheat just a second here, because I want to just double check to make sure that's okay. Ignore this. This doesn't actually exist. Nice. Just want to take a couple half seconds here. Make sure this is all set correctly. Whoa! I was close. It's supposed to be 35, and this is supposed to be 2300, so we need to back that up just a tiny bit. There we are. Perfect. I'm gonna go take a look to make sure everything else is good. Coolant looks good. Carburetor's absolutely freezing. Fuel pressure's fine. Oil pressure's fine. One thing I've learned with this particular aircraft is if you come down here, you have the fuel pumps. If I switch this fuel pump off, I guarantee that engine will shut off. It will not go well for us, to say the least. See, main tank is on. Main tank is on. It looks good to me. That looks good to me. Sweet. All right, looking pretty solid. I'll go ahead and check one more thing real fast before I get too carried away here. I just want to check to make sure everything looks okay. All right, minimize that. Go ahead and hide that. All right, let's take a look. Who's with us today? All right, Adopted Egg. I remember you saying something a little while ago. Elastic Sack, welcome back. Dirty Tomcat, welcome back, long time. USAPR, welcome back, long time. SNSRA, if I had to guess, one of these is Lafflerog. I'm not 100% sure, but they always tend to be a couple millimeters off my wing there, so I would expect that. Let's see here. For a couple new ones here. Haji, if I forgot you, I apologize. Jazzy, I think you're not even with us. Offline PR, P38, awesome. Oh, no, we have a TBM. And Adopted, I think we got that one. I can't see this Vision 1 kind of sneaking in the back here, which is awesome as well. All right, engine's all set up. We're looking pretty good. We're right on course here. It looks like the sun's going to be up just about the time we need to take pictures. One of the fun things I had to read up on a little bit is the different style cameras that they used to use. And it's actually pretty wild because they had basically cameras that look straight down. And then you have what they call oblique cameras, which are basically kind of at a gentle angle. And what you do is you run both camera sets at the same time so that you get like almost like a 3D view of things. All right, just got to take a look here. That looks good. Computer looks good. I just wanted to make sure my trim was set correctly because I felt like it was pulling to the left a little bit. Speaking of pulling to the left a little bit, you want to see something really wild? Well, let me show you something real fast. I've already lost it, so I'm not going to get it back anytime soon. Ah, bummer. And let me do some quick clicking. There we go. Look at how chunky this is. Good evening, good night, USAPR. Look at this thing. It's so chunky. It's like if you got hit with this, you die. Like, this thing's huge, and it's like thick, and it's got like buttons and stuff on it. Like, I love the fact it's got the dive flaps. There's just a big fat switch. But like, oh man, this thing's just wild. Let's take a look at my my weight balance here because I feel like I'm burning pretty unevenly here. Although according to this, yeah, I'm burning evenly. It just so happens that one of the tanks got more full than the other. In-flight refueling. Nice. That should fix my weight balance problem pretty well. All right. Oh, Adopted Egg and a P38 about to go ripping by me in a second. Awesome. Either that or they developed some kind of cloaking device or something that seems to be breaking up the imagery here. I believe that is the DLSS in action here. So, some quick updates for everybody in case you're kind of curious before we have to get to the low-level part of our mission here. Things have been going very well on my side. The flight club that I fly with, because of basically a bunch of coincidences and Cessna 182 engine cylinder failures, not in flight, thankfully, I've ended up flying the Mooney 20 a lot lately. And so it's just been kind of a gas because it's a neat plane and it's definitely not what I expected. I first was introduced to the Mooney in X-Plane 10, actually X-Plane 9, I take it back. And I was not a fan of it because it was just too fast and difficult to slow down and runways and approaches and everything like that. And then other things, yep. Awesome, thanks Dave. Dave's just clarifying that the oblique cameras give us just a different angle to look at. 3D comes from having stereographic, absolutely. So one of the things is I've been flying that aircraft quite a bit, and one of the things it has that I'm really spoiled with is speed brakes. And I've not that I've gotten addicted to speed brakes, but man, they're really, really cool. I was like I said, consistently impressed with them as far as what you can do with them. Oh wow, good to see that the Free French there are building up their power capacity. It must be some kind of new coal system that they're using, but I'm not going to stress about it too much there. All right, we're going to be approaching the front very, very shortly. We're actually going to be crossing the border in just a moment. We're supposed to keep an eye out for a major road here, do some old school road patrol. So basically, we just kind of sit here with a pair of binoculars, and if something looks interesting, we just kind of make a mental note of it here. See if anything's out of the ordinary. Like I said, we're pretty close. We just have to cross a couple more towns. I think we just passed the major airport, if my memory serves me correctly. Nice, nicely done, nicely done. It's pretty easy when I flip on the autopilot, though. Pretty good so far. Just kind of cruising. Let's see, I think I fixed my fuel issue. Is it behaving better now? Yeah, I think it's going to be behaving a lot better. But one of the neat things they actually gave you in this one is external fuel tanks, which you can actually push a button to drop them up. How do you turn the multiplayer nameplate on? Adopted Egg, if you press escape and you click on the general options button, there's this thing that says like network options or something like that, or multiplayer, something like that. If you click, or online maybe, if you click on that and go all the way to the bottom, you'll see a thing that allows you to turn on multiplayer nameplates there. All right, we're going to switch back over to manual for a second here. And we're going to give up just a little bit of altitude. All right, we're going to be crossing over the border, and there's a lot of ACK, so we're going to be kind of careful here. Time to test out those dive brakes. There we go. Very nice. Just wild to think just how fast you can get this aircraft up to. I got past. Whew. Alright, we're going to be sneaking over the border in just a few moments here, and we're just going to lose a little bit of altitude, make them a little less likely to get that surprise shot on us. It's pretty early. Imagine the other side's probably enjoying their sausage and, you know, black bread and stuff like that, so we might be able to get in. Of course, the probability of getting popped at by our own local troops who are a little happy on the trigger, also pretty high, so we got to kind of be very, very vigilant. There we go. All these sleepy little towns. Now, what do we have here? We're moving pretty quick. About 300 indicated. Not bad. Wow, that is such a pretty sight. So one of the interesting things, by the way, for those of you who fly in the real world and get a chance to, is when you're in conditions like it's when it's this snowy on the ground, you get this interesting problem whereby, like, you would think it's going to be harder to find things because, you know, everything's the same color, but it actually becomes easier to find things because trees don't cover anything anymore. And that's one of the ones. Is the snow native in the sim now, or is it just a season pack on? Tier 0, believe it or not, you can turn the snow on and off. If you go up into the weather option right here in the top, if you click here and you actually scroll down, there's a button that says snow depth. For me, I put it in at 12 inches. You can actually crank this left and right and set it to anything you want. So if I want to go like this, it gets a little bit thicker. If I go like this, snow's gone. For today, what I wanted to do is fly with a little bit of simulated snow here to make things a little bit interesting. Good folks over in Europe, they could tell me if it is snowy over there. I can tell you over in our area, it is not snowy. It's just very, 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 very wet. That's been kind of the theme of this winter so far. Usually by this year, part of the year, we have quite a bit of snow on the ground. It just sort of hangs out until March. We had like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 centimeters total so far. It's been pretty bad. Basically, we've had a thing recently where the ocean, because we have La Nina over in the States, you're basically getting the situation where there's a temperature imbalance between the ocean and everything else. And just in our region, it's basically keeping us at comfortable temperatures. And the entire rest of the U.S. is experiencing like real snow, even down south where it never snows. Wet in UK. Gotcha, Simon. Winter's pretty cool. In the real world, I was mentioning right as we started today, in the real world, I had a run-in with some icing. In the real world, I said that already, sorry about that. I had about 3 millimeters in trim. Not much. Millimeters, not a lot of distance in a millimeter there. Yeah, it's absolutely, that's like nothing. Keep my hand in my actual controller here. I want to be sort of careful here. All right, keep an eye out for those fighters. Pretty good overcast today. We're already over the border. Just a second. All right, now we're coming up on our first waypoint here. This is an enemy airfield. We expect not too much at this enemy airfield here. Is Echo Delta Romeo Juliet. And we're just going to do some quick passes. We'll go ahead and set ourselves up so we can kind of do the high-speed pass, try to get as many pictures of like the barracks and everything like that. So I'm just going to come along like this. It's pretty good. Just kind of beam it just a little bit. My little chart says that it's coming up right in a moment. It should be kind of off on our left here. We'll try to stay low. Let's hope the anti-aircraft gunners are sleeping today. Give them a little less time. Maybe they're not sure where we're coming from. We are just a sole aircraft there. Well, actually, there's an entire squadron behind us, so. All right, let's do a run. Hop up to about 4,000 feet. We go ahead and increase power. And there's the airfield. All right, start your pictures. initial pass here. I don't see too much. Looks like it's a pretty quiet day there. All right, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Photography complete. Let's go underneath before they scramble something to come say hi to us. And let's make our way up the border. Up the front, I should say. 32 Celsius in the Caribbean. Pretty warm. Pretty warm. It's comfortable. All right, this is the primary front at this particular point, so I'm going to keep an eye out for anything unusual. Whoops, apparently I can't float my head out of the actual aircraft itself. Yeah, I'm actually impressed. I like it. It has a definite thickness to it, and also it does a nice job with the trees. It kind of makes it a little more convincing. Now, one of the things I was reading about the P-38 is it was notoriously cold in the cockpits, because unfortunately my source of heat is over there, and I'm over here in this little pod. Keep an eye on. There's a sleepy little village. No AAA to report yet. Looks pretty quiet. Nothing at the bridge. Of course, if you had to get troops across. Hey, one of the bridges are still intact. I'm impressed. Come swinging over to the right here. Keep an eye out. Looks like we have a major road there. Pretty good amount of trees. See, when I think of hot in Celsius, I think of like 40. 32 is definitely warm, especially compared to where it is now. Right now, I've got 3 or 4 Celsius, so it's not terrible. The joke I always like to make, though, is you can kind of tell the people who've lived here the longest because they tend to not... It's not that they don't dress for the weather, it's that they don't get bundled when they go outside for things they don't need to get bundled for. So, you know, you go to the local grocery store or the supermarket or whatever it is, and you end up finding a bunch of people like in shorts and sandals with, you know, sweatshirt. And then you get the folks who are like sitting in there and they'll bundle up in their winter gloves and their coats and everything like that, kind of looking really, really serious. And it's like, you only are outside for like 10 minutes. It really doesn't matter. That's an amazing picture. Look at how sweet that is. Oh, Alpha Rog's being dangerous again. Alright, we've got another crossing point, and for some reason there are a lot of intact bridges here. I gotta ask why was Jerry not blowing those bridges up? Oh, there's a bunch of MPs down there on that bridge right now. I guess the MPs are going to be the new combat engineers? You know, I don't really think of MPs as combat engineers, but hey, I'm just a Army Air Force pilot here. What am I to judge? It's a pretty fun movie, by the way. They did a nice job on it. Man, I gotta say one thing, though. If you're trying to get a tank division through here, that is going to be a project. I don't know how it was in World War II, but right now, I tell you, pretty tricky. All right, here's a fun fact. Please do not fly through that valley. If there's a wire across it, it'll take our wings clean off. We are definitely on the Jerry side. Man, this is a tricky place to maneuver. I love these little villages, though. It's so awesome. Coming up on our next photography target here. Let's see here. We are looking over Echo Delta Kilo X-Ray. Somebody over on the YouTube feed was mentioning the fact that they were unable to find this particular waypoint. It shows up for me as a grass strip, so I assume that when we get there. This is between the towns of Tavern and it looks like Wiltingen. We have Irsch and Saarburg that we're coming up in just a few minutes. And yes, my German is atrocious. I love this little river. It's so pretty. This is so nice. Such a nice day. The sun is behind us, which will make us a little bit tougher of a target for any anti-aircraft here. All right. My calculations put the airfield somewhere up on that mountain range just ahead of us there. Do the same basic technique here. Keep an eye out, see if there's any parked Ponces. Seems to be up in that village. Could feel the view, though. Alrighty, looks good. Keep a little bit low here. Ooh, this is a big village. Every once in a while, some guy with a Mauser probably takes a shot at us. It's gonna happen. Good for the morale of the troops, they say, even though they're probably not gonna hit us. Alrighty, get ready to push the button for the cameras. German communication technology. Alright, gotta start building up some speed here. plenty of fuel. All right, right up on the right. Oh no, AB Photos got shot down. Set up rest cap here. All right, cameras on. If they're hiding Hemi 109s or Focke-Wulf 190s, they're very well camouflaged. All right, let's head back down and make our way up to the continuation of the front here. This major highway we're supposed to be monitoring. Awesome. All right, delightful. So when it comes to World War II planes, this is my absolute favorite. For folks who know the IL-2 series, this is the aircraft that I'm always flying around when I'm given the opportunity to do so. It works really, really, really well for me. It's just very easy to fly. It's got great speed. Yeah, it doesn't have the best roll rate ever. If you put this thing into a dive, of course, it's an experience. It's an experience. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Major marshalling yard. Marshalling yard. Nope, no German trains. Oh well. But one of the things is quite an experience in a dive, and I love how they have the little dive flap button that's built right into the yoke. So you just go click, and it's kind of the only way in the universe you're going to be able to stop yourself. Ah, I see that the Jerry is working on some new anti-aircraft defenses. It seems they have attached some kind of giant spiky thing on the top of a tall pole. I guess the concept there is it sucks in enemy aircraft and causes us all sorts of damage. So I'm going to get away from them just in case they cause some kind of funky turbulence. Of course, what they would probably do is set up a bunch of... Uh-oh. Careful, Elastic Shack. It's a trap. I think he's going for it. Ooh, right between the blades. Ah, risky. What a hot shot. What a maverick. All right, gotta sneak this way. Cool. So our next destination, like I said, we're basically following the front at this point here, right on the border. You know, at some point, it'll be all over. Wow, there's a lot of those anti-aircraft defenses over there. And yet at some point, this war will end. Then we just have to deal with Japan, and it shouldn't be too bad. But we shall see. One of the cool things with the P-38, like I was saying before, other than its ridiculous speed, is it's so stable. Like a lot of World War II planes, like especially if you fly some of the German ones, like the Focke-Wulf 190, its landing gear track are so close together, it's just death. Like if there's a crosswind of any kind, it's like, just forget it, it's not going to go well. Whoa, gotta get the trim right. That is the one thing Microsoft really needs to fix one of these days, is improve the way that the trim is handled. Because at least with X-Plane, it's linear, so if I hold on to the button, it just keeps going up. It doesn't suddenly accelerate on you. It's nothing like the real world. Of course, in the real world, one thing that a lot of sims don't get right is you don't have to move the trim that much. Most planes are pretty stable on their own. All right, let's see how we're doing up back here. Looks good, looks good. Turn my eyes away for a second, and all of a sudden I've gained altitude and I've pulled off to the light, just like the real plane. All right, Echtenach. Betzendorf is coming up on the left wing here. I don't know how that Mooney's keeping up with me there. I'm impressed. Yeah, this would be a nightmare strategically. I play a lot of, strategy games, but I'm looking at just the way this valley is set up. You basically can't go down this valley, cross this river without being ambushed by everything on this side of the river. Even if you try, forget it. There's no way Jerry's getting through here. You see a lot of top-down strategy games. This is what you see, but the reality is, you have depth and things to hide behind and places to get trapped. It's crazy when you really, really look at it. Rubicon Kuperich is coming up just in a few moments here. So as far as other flight sim news goes, for those of you who are interested in the Carinado aircraft, I think Microsoft Marketplace has got a sale on them right now. Of course, by the time you might see this, that could be gone. Generally, I kind of like their stuff. Oh, I got a fun one. So this goes out to the person who had posted on my community page a little while ago. They had mentioned the fact that, hey, there's this aircraft I was interested in. It was the PAC 750X STOL. And, had offered, I'll buy it for you so you can fly it around. I'm like, well, that's cool. So I reached out to the company, which happens to be Orbix, and they actually said yes, that they would provide me with a reviewer's copy of it. So not next week. I've got nothing but DC3 coming up next week. But the following week, I'm hoping that once that all gets kind of squared away, I'll be able to go ahead and showcase that aircraft. And I just thought that was like so super cool. Another aircraft news too, as you probably saw from earlier this week, the Cirrus Vision. Very interesting plane. But for those of you who poked around on the Microsoft add-ons page, you probably caught some stuff about things like we're going to be getting another Airbus. We're going to be getting a 767, which I think is really neat. I'm actually a bigger fan of the 757 because it's just fantastic. That's its, qualitative kind of a thing like that. Thanks, Mike. Hello from Canada. Awesome. You folks actually got snow. We did not down here in New England. Always kind of fun. So we've got that coming up. For those of you who follow DCS, if you haven't missed it so far, on DCS right now, they did their upcoming year, their 2023 kind of like, let's get excited for what's coming up kind of video. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's actually pretty wild. The Yak 9, where are you? Let me get you the closest airport, Chris Snyder. Echo Delta Uniform Charlie. If you jump there and probably head on a northwest sort of a heading, that'll take you right up to us. If you want to try to get us, if you want to head directly at us, you'd have to go up to Echo Bravo Bravo November and basically hold a due southwest sort of a heading to catch up to us. That's quick estimates here. Quick estimates. Sun's coming up, but the sun is kind of behind us. All right, come swing this way. Wow, look at that listening post they set up. Very impressive. Gotta hand it to Jerry, man. That's some creative stuff. And this is really tough terrain to get a Panzer division through. I'm not gonna lie. They always said, it's like the Ardennes. You're not gonna have a lot of luck here, and I believe it. I'm looking at it, going, yikes. You definitely could do it. It's just seems difficult. All right. Normally I go ahead and take this turn here. I'm just gonna try to avoid that pole. All right, so our next objective is going to be basically north of us. It's going to be Echo Bravo Lima Bravo. And now we're going to be trying to come in nice and low here and then pop up the things. I hope someone brings a nice Mosquito. Yes, the DCS Mosquito is quite a trip. My buddy and I, Butternips there, we do a lot of flying together. And the Mosquito is one we always fly together. And the reason it's so much fun with a multiplayer in the same plane together is you get to experience getting wrecked together. And one of the things I was so impressed with is they have a lot of flak in DCS now. Not that kind of flak, that kind of flak. The stuff that blows you up. And we went through quite a barrage and like a D-Day scenario kind of thing like that. And the plane, there was no like airframe remaining. It was just like the stringers and like a little bit of the aileron, a little bit of the tail. And it just kept flying. Like, what kills that is when the wing finally falls off or the engine stopped working. Like, that's what actually ends up being the thing that always does me in with that plane. It's like the actual airframe itself, it could just get obliterated, and it just keeps going. It just gets windy. Just a little windy. I always thought that was really neat. The other one we always like to fly, the same person, of course, is like a lot of helicopters, like the AH-64. I'm okay at helicopter. I will give myself a little bit of credit there, but it's much more fun when you have somebody in the front seat who you can argue with about what something is. We're flying over and we see a building like over there like that, and it's like, did you see the guy behind that building? And he's like, what? And we're doing about this. No, well, I can't go this fast in Apache. That guy right there. He's right in the front of the building. See him? See it? No. Do you want me to come around? No, I didn't see him. No. Are you sure? Like, it's like half of the conversations in the plane are whether or not you saw the thing. And then, of course, it's like, all right, let's go take a look. And, go turning yourself around and everything like that. And it's just so much fun. In the meantime, some airplane shows up and tries to shoot you down. But you're like, well, I'm a helicopter. So you bring yourself into a hovering about 6 feet off the ground. And they, try to fire missiles at you. But the missiles are like, ground or helicopter? Not going to happen. It's actually pretty entertaining. I like these valleys. This is a very pretty region. Kind of reminds me, there's another region. It kind of reminds me like the almost like the Pacific Northwest, but it's very, very scenic. Actually, very, very pretty. Hey, some water to crash into later. Nice. So cool. Wish the aircraft engine noise was just slightly less loopy. I'll definitely say that. When we do this in an F-16 next time. Actually, no, it's got to be a DC-3 next time, I think. I will will say one thing, this would be really fun in VR. Of course, I would get terribly lost, but that's a different issue. That's just me. All right, let's see here. So we're going to be crossing to Boulogne? Then? I don't know, I guess we'll figure it out when we kind of get there, sort of a thing like that. Other aircraft that we got coming for a flight sim. Of course, we've got a couple more helicopters. We have like a Bell 206, which I thought was actually kind of interesting. I think there's actually 2 different companies who's making the Bell 206. We're going to be seeing, I forget which one of the Warbirds. I'm like, oh, that one. It wasn't P-51. I think it was one of the naval planes. I think we're seeing another one of the Axe, which is super exciting. Let's see what else we have. I think I'm just going through kind of on my mental list here of all the things I keep an eye out for. One of the things I would love to see for flight sim, though, is like a heavy bomber. I'd be very tickled to go fly like a B-29 or like a B-52, or, well, my personal dream would be the B-36, but nobody's actually going to take time to, whoa, careful there. I'm below you, right away. Nobody's ever going to actually model a B-36, just on account of the fact that, let's see here, it has, what, 10 engines? So I don't think people are going to bother with that, which is a shame, because it's one of my favorite airplanes ever. Whoa! Nice. Love it. Love every minute of it. All right, next target is coming up in just a few moments here. We're going to kind of stay low. Like I said, there hasn't been a lot of troop movement. They're getting much, much better camouflage. I will definitely give you that. Of course, the intelligence boys have to sit here and enjoy an awful lot of flight. We are just south of Echo, Bravo, Lima, Bravo. Rob McSchrob. South and southwest, yeah. Such a neat region. Really, like, I don't know, I'm so tickled by this. Because like I said, I played a lot of World War II strategy games, but I never actually get to see it in 3D. So this is like, man, if I were a tank and I were like right there, like I have a pretty good field of view of anybody dumb enough to stick their heads out by that village there. Like, that's crazy. We have Butgenbach. Is that coming up on the right wing here? Yep. So every once in a while, wired virtually, you'll have a weird little lag spiky thing that takes everybody out. Whoa! Adopted Egg is getting a little aggressive there. Oh, look at that. Oh, I like that. Oh, I should have turned with him. Ah, I was tempted. I was tempted. I will turn with somebody later, though. Laffel if I didn't know any better, I'd say you're upside down. I should probably watch where I'm flying here and not watch you. That's awesome. Oh, that's a fun story. So I was flying at the day, it was a New Year's Eve, and I was flying down to go visit my folks down in Delaware. And we basically have to fly from Hartford, Connecticut, which, near where I am, and fly all the way down there. We did it in the Mooney. And when we were flying down, we got flight following and everything like that, and it's pretty wild. But our flight following, we're flying in New Jersey, which, for those of you who are not familiar with the, I guess, I don't want to call it Northeast Corridor, but I'm going to call it Route 95 corridor in the United States on the East Coast here. It's we just sort of make fun of anything that's along it, because it's like a flyover state or like a drive-through. Like I'm sure you have an equivalent thing, probably, any country you live in, you've got that place that people just kind of drive through and make fun of. So New Jersey has always been my family we make fun of. But we're flying over that, and all of a sudden we get a really, really fun radio call. They say, traffic is at your 9 o'clock, maneuvering aggressively. Yeah, so that right there. I warned you. That's why we use them for recce. So I get a thing for aggressive maneuvering. So I grab my tablet, and I immediately look at it. Oh, we got to do some photography here. Popping up. And there's the fields. All right, let's see. Yeah, they seem to be quiet. Oh, there's one. Yeah, that's strange. It seems the Germans are moving all their guys away from the front. Very strange. All right, let's head back down. Nice. All right, we're heading deep into Germany now. So they called it, said aggressive maneuvering. I said, okay. I didn't know what he meant by aggressive maneuvering. So, of course, being a pilot, you grab your tablet, you look at it, try to identify him on the ADS-B, and then moments later, of course, you look out the window and you do one of these things. So I saw this little black speck, probably about that altitude, right where that cloud just starts to base. And I saw the black speck shoot straight down, and then the black speck flipped, did another couple flips like that. Then it went straight down again, and then it basically flipped, did a knife edge turn, saw the little vapor kind of trails come off of it, do a bunch more flips, and it was just Like, the thing was out of control as far as I was concerned. Then he'd go straight for a minute, and then he'd go, what? And he'd do one of those, go into a dive, spin the thing like that, and then suddenly go straight, do like 3 or 4 aileron rolls back to back, and then straighten back out again. And I'm sitting there going, wow. So I had to call back air traffic control. And I'm like, tally your aggressive maneuvering aircraft there. Definitely aggressive. And it was one of those moments where I'm just like, you can do acrobatics just to do acrobatics, but you have to have like a parachute on. You have to like have it be endorsed for it and everything like that. But I just wasn't expecting to see someone doing their air show routine just in the middle of New Jersey, because there was literally nobody else in the air there except for us, and, of course, the jets who were up at 36,000 feet. So that was just, like, one more thing. That was a really fun flight, by the way, because I actually convinced my parent to actually fly with me. And that was absolutely wild, because they'd never been in a small plane before. So, yeah, that's an experience for people who've never done that. Adopted Egg's got the right idea, definitely. All right, so we're heading deep into enemy territory here, so I'll keep an eye out. Like I said, they're probably not expecting us. Our ultimate destination today, we're going to be going down to Cologne, which, believe it or not, the company my dad works for, he has to go there pretty much every year, and he spends a couple weeks, and they do like trade shows for like paper machines and stuff like that. So they always come back telling me some really fun stories. I've already made comments about some German terminology, but it's always neat because I'm like, when do I get to go? Kind of a thing like that, because this is such a pretty region. Oh, careful, Adopted Egg. All right, who am I going to turn with here? I'll wait until I find somebody who's going to accidentally fly by me here, and I'll be all over it. I'm just afraid not to blow the engines on this thing. All right, we got a Vision Jet. Oh, there we go. P-51. I can take that. Oh, there it is. Oh, Adopted Egg, you're being aggressive. That's got to be Laughable Rock. He's so good at these things. All right, he's going to give me a nice little run around. Let me take some shots at him here. I love the visibility in this. This is incredible. Whoa! Every time I turn my head, I lose 100,000 feet. Wow. Take a look at this tree region. Like, it goes from this very, very mountainous region, kind of reminds me of like Appalachia, and it just gets flat again as we enter into Germany proper. Neat. All right, somebody's got to be silly enough to come behind in front of me here. They will. Don't worry. Of course, what I could do is fly nice and low, but I'll stick up to this altitude for now. We're supposed to be taking... I think we're pretty much out of film at this point, though. Speaking of being out of film, let's see what else we're out of. Yeah, we got plenty. Oh, there we go. Fight's on. Okay, I had to have my fun. I thought I was going to blow an engine for a second there. Alright, is it going to bring me... what's it going to be? Man, that's maneuverable. I am so impressed. Oh, I should probably clear my 6 now. Nicely done. That was fun. Thank you, Adopted Egg. That was good. I like that. Wow, I got another one. Gotta go right into the stall, kick it over, and right foot. Alright, we'll have some fun. Come out of that one. Getting the buffet. Alright, we got elastic sack here. Coming in. Going into the lead pursuit, leg pursuit. Gotta give him a little bit of room. There it is. Let's wait to see where he's gonna brake to. Man, this thing gets a pickup. Wow. Ah, he's just slightly fast for me. Yeah, I gotta clear my 6 anyway. I imagine there's 10 people who are riding up behind me right now. Oh, there he goes. What's it gonna be? Oh, we're going 3D. Here we go. Oh, I got this. I got it. Ah, there it is. Oh, there it is. Nice and pull. Nice. Watch out. We're really low. No. Stay away from the ground. He's going to make me overshoot. Oh, I got it. There it is. Oh no! Now I'm just having fun. Oh no 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 no! I don't think so. Oh, elastic sack, you're good, man. You're good. Actually, what I got to do is I give him a lag pursuit, and I'll pull it right into a lead pursuit. Got to be careful with the engines on this thing. Like, you really, really do have to monitor them. All right, you want to play that game? I'll do a yo-yo. Oh, no, he turns right as I yo-yo. That's not fair. All right, we should probably get going to Germany now. Good game, good game. Love it, love it. Yeah, the hammerhead's sweet in this thing. Ah, all right. I was afraid we'd get jumped. I didn't realize it was going to be by the Army Air Force, though. All right, let's go reduce all the power on this thing before I blow something on it. Well, my mechanic's probably going to be kind of mad at me when I get home. Good times, good times. Broke up that formation. So one of the things they used to do at the Air Museum is we had a P-47, and we let people sit inside of it and like play with the controls and everything like that. Like really good times. But I don't know how. I don't care how old you were. I don't care, gender. I don't care, nationality. Anybody who sat down inside of the P-47 in the Air Museum and just grabbed onto the controller, the first thing I want is to like that, like. They all do it. Like, it doesn't, like, I've got grandpa doing it. I've got, mom doing it. Like, the little sister doing it. It's so funny. And it was just kind of one of those things that, like, people always did. It was just like, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of a fun moment for folks. Let's see if I can get this thing retrimmed out here. Wow, this needs a lot of right trim. Hope I didn't bend anything when I was doing all those silly maneuvers. I imagine it's because I'm not taking fuel out of one tank better. No, looks good. Looks good. I guess I'm just hallucinating. It's just me. Maybe one of my controls are starting to get bent or something like that. I should probably check my calibration. Get all the wiggly waggles. Okay, back to work here, back to work. Well, I broke that formation up real nice. Now, if you're doing this with F-16s, that whole sort of thing would have happened, but I wouldn't dare to do it at that altitude. We would have crashed so many times. Are you upside down? Yeah, you are upside down, aren't you? Play that game, but I don't want to nauseate anybody too much here. All right, so we're going to be setting up for a landing at this point now. I believe the wind is mostly out of the west, at least the way I have it set up here. 3-2 right is going to be our lucky runway here. I'm going to kind of take it over, not a cross mid, probably going to be a base turn, and we're just going to go right into 3-2. Although if I was a better pilot, I'd probably try to establish what the correct altitude is and kind of set stuff up from that perspective, but I'm not sometimes. There we go. Much better. Much, much, much better. Just kept stomping on the trim there, trying to get it to behave a little bit. There we go. You'd expect an aircraft with counter-rotating propellers not to have any issues with torque, but you always get a little tiny bit. And there is our destination right up there. I'm not going to be landing on that runway, though. I'm actually going to be taking the... actually, we could do a downwind and come in that way. Upside down. So this makes it a little bit easier to see the runway, I suppose. I just got to remember, if I pull up, I'm going the other way. So let's see here. So we have that, I believe, is the cross-run runway. I got to reverse my turns here in order to be able to come there that way. That looks pretty good right there. I like that. There we are. And now we just got to set this thing down on the ground real carefully here. I believe the town of Cologne proper is over this way. I'm amazed the 8th Air Force hasn't done more of their thing here, but it happens. Just dude. We're not even sure what kind of aircraft it is. It's just a dude. I believe there is a jetpack out there for anybody who wants sort of a unique take on an airplane. Definitely not something I'm necessarily interested in, but kind of cool, kind of cool. All right, let's come a little bit over to the right. We'll go ahead and start getting ready for landing here. There we go. All right, before landing checklists. Let's go ahead and double check a couple things real fast. There we go. Let's see, checklists before landing. Approach. Approach 2600. I did that already. 160. Fuel pump emergency. Fuel tanks on. Flaps down. It doesn't give me anything about the approach speed here, which is too shame. Too shame. Good enough. I'll figure it out. I shall use the think system. And this thing is a cool plane. Remember, we did stuff in T6s over Morocco a little while ago, which was quite a trip. And this thing is just goes. Very, very impressed with it. They did a nice job. All right, so not going to be my runway. I'll be hitting the other side. I think we're going to end up about 90 knots or so on approach. Kind of low, but that's okay. Whoa. Whoa! I'm amazed this aircraft does not have a, I forgot to put the landing gear down siren. Wow, that's a lot longer runway than I expected. Let's see that coming. It's all good. There we go. Hand up just a tiny bit so I can see a little better here. That is a really long runway. Base turn, 3-2 left. All right, we'll go ahead and meet up for the picture for those of you who are interested. Right in front of that kind of rectangular building that I'm looking over off my side there. We're a little high, but that's okay. That's about 90. So one of the fun things is in the real world, if you're not sure what the stall speed is, you just pull back about that far in here, meep, and you're like, oh, yep, that's the right speed. All right. Unfortunately, I didn't do enough research on Cologne, Germany here, but I believe if we're landing our P-38 in German territory, this is probably bad for us. Not perfect. I see somebody bounced it. Another thing from the real world that I've learned quite a bit of is when you do land an airplane, you've got to kind of remember that wherever your parking is a big impact on how far you're going to have to taxi the plane. So you just keep that in mind. And, you know, I landed at the end of the runway. Yeah, nicely done. Unfortunately, you know, kind of one of those sort of things. All right, let's go sneak over by whatever that blue plane is, and we'll go ahead and... Oh! Having a tough time there, Adopted Egg. Not quite landing a Mooney. Of course, I know a Chris R, and I'm very, very suspicious. If it's the Chris that I think it is, yeah, we don't have 2,400 horsepower in a Mooney, but I appreciate the thought. Also, the Mooney has brakes on the only has brakes on the pilot side and not the passenger side, but we're only single engine here, so I'm not going to stress out. All right, let's go get our picture in right here. Go ahead and tap that. Nice. All right, if you'd like to join our photo as always, feel free to swing on by. I'll go ahead and grab it real quick. And as always, when we reach the end of one of these videos, I like to... I had a feeling. As always, if you'd like to have any quick questions here, I've got an actual real pilot on our chat here, in addition to myself, who's got way more hours than I can hallucinate. Apparently, he will sell you some. It's like $1 an hour at this point. That's besides the point. All right, let's grab that picture real fast. Whoa, all over the place. Oh, I gotta wait for me. Wait for me. I'm waiting. Hey, we got a lot of P-38s that came out today. This is awesome. Uh-oh. I think I caught that in the picture by accident, but that's okay. All right, awesome. So as always, I always like to do a quick little Q&A if there's anything that you'd have any questions on. I'm just going to make sure damage was turned on. It was. I did break the plane somehow. Not bad. So I'm going to go find myself a nice body of water while you're thinking of anything you'd like to see on our channel or anything on we'd like to do in future flights. I'm going to aim in this general direction. There we go. We'll do a Cirrus takeoff here. Ah, yes, we are, Ashton. Oh, man, that's got some pickup. Ah! Yeah, this is fun. This is a beautiful region. Like, absolutely, absolutely beautiful. By the way, the reason the plane is buffeting because my windows are still open. So don't tell Chris R this, but I accidentally left the window open for takeoff on the Mooney. All right, so coming up, we have a bunch of stuff on the DC-3 next week. That was a blast to make. The following week, if the Warbirds folks pull through, I'm really, really hoping that they do. We'll have some stuff on the CH-750. I would also like to do a series, kind of alternate navigation kind of things like that, kind of picking landmarks, things like that. We haven't done anything that technical in a long time, so that may be kind of fun. I suppose I should do some videos on, the Mooney itself, because I have a little bit of experience with it now, because it's a pretty neat plane. I really, really, really like it. A little bit. We're a little far out, though. A little far out. I mean, like, when you look at it, we don't have trains like that in Hartford. So for those of you who are curious, Chris R. taught me how to fly the Mooney. So I blame all my mistakes and expertise there on him, so it's all good. All right, let's go swimming. I don't think I want to go swimming in this particular river this time of year, but it's all going to be something along those lines. All right, looking pretty good. Great to see everyone again. I had a lot of fun. Like I said, beautiful region. I still can't believe you can try to hide an entire army, but given those mountains, how could you move the army after hiding it? It's just kind of one of those things. All right, let's see how long we can get close to the river without actually going into the river, and then we'll call that out once we get going there. All right, just a couple feet. That looks pretty good right there. I like that. Now, we are equipped for water landings, correct? Now, in flights, in the real world, I assume I could just kind of go kersploosh and that would be it. But in a flight sim, it kind of has its own way to remind you that you're not supposed to do this. I could go lower than that. Oh, there it is. Ah! As always, thank you for joining us this evening. We'll see you again in about 2 weeks. Like I said, a lot of good stuff coming your way. And as always, enjoy. See ya.